Good morning, students. So, students, we will proceed with the previous chapter, that is acid, bases and salt. What is the common name of calcium oxide and calcium hydroxide? Anyone of you can answer. And what are the products formed when metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates, they react with acids? Any one of you can answer. The common name of calcium hydroxide is liquid lime and that of calcium oxide is quicklime. And the products formed when metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates reacts with acids are carbon dioxide, water and salt. So today we will discuss the reaction between metal oxide and acids as to how metal oxides they react with acids. So children, you can refer page number 21 of your book. Okay, now children, first thing which you have to remember is metal oxide, they behave as bases. First of all, what is a metal oxide? Metal, how you write metal? Metal, let us see. This is sodium metal oxide. But this is not the correct formula. First, we have to write the valencies. Valency of oxygen is 2 and sodium is 1. So Na2O is a metal oxide which is named as sodium oxide. Aluminium oxide, how you will write? This is aluminium, this is oxide. Valency of oxygen is 2, valency of aluminium is 3. So this is aluminium oxide. So metal oxides, they react with base. When they will react with acids, you will get salt and water. Now, this is the reaction called as neutralization. Okay. Now here base sodium oxide, which is a metal oxide, it acts as a base. It will react with acids and it will give salt and water. So this is a neutralization reactions. Now the reaction between the non-metallic oxides and base. Why I am saying non-metallic oxide and base? Because non-metallic oxide, this is a non-metallic oxide. This non-metallic oxide, it behaves as a acid. So when it reacts with a base, we get salt and water. Okay. Non-metallic oxide is a acid. So carbon dioxide is a non-metallic oxide, I can say, because carbon is a non-metal. So this is a non-metallic oxide. When it reacts with base, calcium hydroxide is a base. So you will get calcium carbonate, which is salt and water. So this reaction is a neutralization reaction only. I hope all of you have understood this thing. So just remember, non-metallic oxide behaves as acids and metallic oxide behaves as bases. Okay, students. Now just refer page 22, page 23, refer page 23. Now children, what happens to acid or base in aqueous solution? What happens? If you take acid and base in water solution, what will happen? Let us see. Now you take one test tube, okay, and in that test tube you take 1 grams of sodium chloride, that is NaCl, and you add drop-wise sulfuric acid in it, that is H2SO4. Understood? Now you close the test tube with the cork having a delivery tube. What will happen? You have taken sodium chloride and you are adding sulfuric acid. You will see one gas is evolved and that gas is hydrochloric acid. That gas is evolved through the delivery tube and what will happen? Hydrochloric acid, that gas is evolved and you bring now wet blue litmus or dry blue litmus near the gas. You will find that the gas will not turn dry blue litmus red, because what is the test for acids? They turn blue litmus red, but here this HCl gas, this HCl gas will not turn dry blue litmus red. Why? Because here hydrogen ions are not generated. Because hydrochloric acid or that HCl gas Here it is in the combined form. There is no generation of free H positive ions. For that, water is required, because water only breaks or dissociates acids to liberate H positive ions, because acidic properties are due to H positive ions. That is why when the gas is tested with a wet blue litmus, since water is there, the gas or HCl that is dissociated and free H positive ions are liberated, and these free H positive ions are responsible for the acidic properties, and it turns blue litmus red. I hope all of you have understood. Now you can see here, this is HCl, this is combined form, in a combined form. Now when water is added, this water is responsible for dissociation, breaking of HCl, and when it is broken, what you get? Ions, that is H positive ions and chlorine ions, and these H positive ions are responsible for the acidic behavior of the acids. If these H positive ions are not there, then acids are not acids. Okay, so here in the wet litmus paper, the water is there which has dissociated H positive ions to H positive and chlorine, and because of the free H positive ions, the blue litmus turned red. Now these H positive ions are generated where? In water. In water only. You have taken HCl and added water. So in water only H positive is given. So H positive plus water, you can write H3O, which is also called as hydronium ions. Understood? Or you can write H positive aqueous, which is also be H3O. But you can never write H3O aqueous, because then it will be H3O again H2O. I hope it is clear to everyone nicely. Same thing happens with the base. Bases are bases due to the presence of free OH ions. They are free, then only bases behave as bases. They turn red litmus blue. So even the bases, the water, it dissociate base into two ions, cation and the anion. And here the anion produced is OH. Or you can say water only dissociates the bases to liberate free OH ions. Like here you can see these free OH ions are liberated. Where it is liberated? In solution. Okay. And it will turn now red litmus blue. I hope all of you have understood this thing nicely. Students, just open page number 22. What do all acids and all bases have in common? Because all the acids and bases are showing the same property. All the acids have same property and all the bases have same property. So what is common? This thing actually I have told you in the beginning only, that all the acids have free hydrogen ions and all the bases have free OH ions. And due to that only all the acids have same properties and all the bases also have same property. But let us try this experiment. Activity 2.8. You see this setup, experiment setup. You can see in the book, or you can also see in the image which is given in the document. Here they have taken one beaker and one cork is there. You can see the cork, and here two nails are fixed. And these nails are connected with the battery and the bulb. Okay. Now here you take 4 solutions: glucose, alcohol, hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. Now here first you take dilute sulfuric acid in the beaker and you switch on the current. You will see the bulb will glow. Again repeat it with dilute sulfuric acid. Now in place of hydrochloric acid you take sulfuric acid. Again you will see that the bulb will glow. Repeat the experiments with glucose and alcohol solutions also. You will see the bulb will not glow. So what you will observe, with acids the bulb will glow, but with glucose and alcohol the bulb will not glow. What does it mean? If the bulb is glowing in acids, it means the electricity is conducting, Okay, it means the solution is conducting electricity, means it is allowing the electricity to pass through, and that is why bulb is glowing. But in glucose and alcohol, the bulb is not glowing. Means, what does it mean? That they are not conducting electricity, they are not allowing the electric current to pass through them. Why? Why it happens? Because in acids, the ions are produced. Okay, when electricity is passed through the acids, they dissociate into positive ions and negative ions, and the current is carried by these ions. In case of acids, the cation, the positive ion is H positive. Okay, but in case of glucose and alcohol, glucose also have hydrogen ions. The formula of glucose is C6H12O6. So here you will see in the document, you will see even it contains H, hydrogen ions. Even alcohol also contain hydrogen ions. You can see the formula of alcohol, ethyl alcohol in the slide or the document. The formula of ethyl alcohol is C2H5OH. So in both the cases, that is in glucose and alcohol, hydrogen ions are there. But on passing electricity, they are not liberated or they are not dissociated in the form of ions. So that is why the current is not carried and they do not conduct electricity or the bulb does not glow. I hope all of you have understood this thing. Okay, even if you will take base, instead now if in this apparatus you will take base, sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, you will find that the bulb will glow, because here also they are dissociated, the bases are dissociated to produce positive and negative ions. Now children, just refer page 24. Children, the process of dissolving acid or base in water is highly exothermic. Means large amount of heat is liberated. And one has to take lot of care while mixing concentrated sulfuric or nitric acid. Concentrated nitric and sulfuric acid are highly dangerous, too dangerous. So children, actually water should not be added to acid, because so much of heat is evolved that the vessel bursts and it can cause serious burns. Always acid must be added to water. And how? Acids must be added slowly to water with constant stirring. Okay, it's constant stirring so that the heat generated is evolved, and slowly. And how you should add acids? Along the sides of the walls of the container. Okay, if the water is added to concentrated acid, heat generated may cause the mixture to splash out and cause severe burns. Glass container may also break. Okay, so you should always add acid to water with constant stirring and along the sides of the walls. Mixing of acid or base with water results in the decrease in the concentration of ions. Such a process is called dilution, and the acid and the base is said to be diluted. I hope all of you have understood whatever is explained to you nicely. Okay students, I will give you some questions for homework. Okay, I will give you text questions only. First of all, let us try to finish the text questions. So I will give you the text questions only for homework. Okay, and I will also give you the answers of previous assignment. So as soon as you finish hearing audio or the video, you will just complete the assignment questions, the text questions which I will give you. Okay.